Hey guys, it's Hadley Wright, and I want to talk today about my 2026 goals as far as writing and reading goes. So first of all, I like to come up with a word of the year for every year. And for next year, I think for the first time I'm going to have two, and that is seek and surrender, which I think go hand in hand, but absolutely I want like the energy of seek, of seeking out knowledge, and always moving forward. It has like the forward momentum. I'm seeking for what I want. I like that energy. And I feel like with that is also needed surrender, which is a lesson I think I need to learn and embrace a little bit more. Because it's hard to accept when things kind of get derailed or things don't go to plan exactly, and that can be very frustrating, and I need to learn more to surrender to things that are out of my control and stay on track when I can. So that's kind of the spirit I'm hoping to have for the next year. But yeah, we can talk about my actual plans for writing, which 2026 has the potential to be quite a big year for me because I'm planning maybe to launch my indie publishing career as a romance writer. And yeah, I haven't totally solidified like my game plan for publishing, is why I say it might be, because I'm kind of leaning toward the idea of holding books back a little bit so that I can have a little bit faster momentum to get established initially. So I haven't decided yet how comfortable I am with that speed and spacing and all of that. But as far as the writing goes, I have plans to continue to write as well as I can, as fast as I can. As Seth Ring here on YouTube says, write more good books faster, which is so easy to say and less easy to do. If you don't watch his videos, I do recommend his videos because he's very much like a realist, practical advice, and kind of goes against some other very popular writing advice, which I think is always very helpful to, get all the information and disseminate whatever you can from everyone. There's something to learn from everyone. And not that his advice is bad. It obviously works very well for him. He's a full-time indie writer, and I really like his videos. So in case you haven't heard of him, Seth Ring, and I will leave a link down below. Look at me go, I'm a real YouTuber now. Okay, yes, so 2026 may be the year that I first publish my books. However, it also might not be till 2027, which 27 is my favorite number, so that feels lucky. Excuse me. That feels like lucky, serendipitous timing. So that might play into my plans as well. We'll see. So actually, let me look at my list here, what I have. So currently I'm working on the second draft of my first contemporary romance novel, which is, almost told you the name of it, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. What's the reason why people always give their books a nickname? Is so other people don't steal their titles? I guess that makes sense, even though you can't like copyright a title. I don't know. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments. I'm very ignorant on certain things still, as we all are on certain things. We don't know what we don't know, and that is one of my philosophies. Anyways, so I want to get that book finished and ready to publish. Whether or not I actually get it published or not next year, it needs to be done. I need to be done with it and move on to the next thing. So I do have plans for that being like a connected standalone romance series. So each one is its own book, but the characters kind of cross over, which is very common in the romance genre if you're unaware. But I have solid plans for 2 more books with that, and also maybe 2 more, depending on how I'm feeling by that time. So 3 books for sure in that series, if I can pull that off. And I would like to have first drafts of the other 2 books at least. So rough drafts of both of those books, so 3 total books, manuscripts finished. Technically 2 brand new book manuscripts finished next year, and hopefully one of those I can get polished through a second draft as well, if not both. We'll see. But that's like about the bare minimum I would like to have. I would like to have, I don't know how many drafts I will need more of this book that I'm working on now before it's finished. It's probably more than just 1 more though. I mean, it's probably got some work ahead of it still. I don't know, because I've never finished a book. I don't know how many drafts it takes me to get something to where I feel like it's publishable. So that's kind of a mystery, and it makes it hard to set goals, but that's my number 1 priority, is finish this book. Rough draft the next one, and then as that one's like marinating, like waiting after that to kind of, you know, take a break after you finish. That's like common advice. Then I will rough draft the next book, and then I can go back and work on a second draft of the other. Those are my very loose plans. If I ever feel like unmotivated and like I'm losing steam, I always give myself permission, unless I have like a very strict deadline with myself, which I don't set very often, but if I do, or like I may have editor deadlines or whatever in the future, then obviously I will need to prioritize whatever I'm working on. But if I get inspired for something else, if I get an idea for my medieval fantasy and feel like I need to really use that momentum and work on that while I am feeling inspiration for it, I give myself permission to do that. And until it doesn't work for me anymore, like, I am just a believer. If you get a stroke of inspiration, like, don't waste it. If it's a brand new story idea, don't waste it. Like, stop, think about it a little bit, like, see what comes when you're really thinking about it, and write down whatever you can about that story, about that idea, about characters that come to you, situations, scenes, settings, anything like that. And just write it down and have it somewhere, because sometime you're going to want another idea. You're going to be like, what should I work on next? And then you're going to have this stack of ideas that you have had and didn't have time to work on at the minute. So that's advice that I live by, is never let inspiration go to waste. So I give myself permission to do that, but my main focus is going to be on my romance novels until I can get this career of mine launched and I can actually call myself an indie published author. That'll be wild. But yeah, so that's my focus for next year. Let me see. Along with that, I want to build out a beta reader team, or like find beta readers to help me, because that's going to be a very important piece of publishing, right? And when you're an indie published author, you have to do that kind of stuff yourself. So I want to get plenty of eyeballs on my stories where I'm feeling very confident about them before I put them out in the world, like as something people will pay for, right? So yeah, I need to do that next year for sure. I have 0 so far, so I can't go down from here. It's all up from here. Yeah, so along with all these writing goals, my baseline goal is basically to work on stories and writing every single day. And whether that doesn't have to be words on the page, it can be like outlining an idea that I have that I might eventually write in the future, that I will write eventually in the future. I tend to have a slow writing process where I build stories in layers, and so that's kind of why I say, like, follow the inspiration, because, you know, they're all plugging away back in the back of your mind somewhere. And if you're watching something on TV that strikes an idea that kind of goes with another idea, and, you know, build those as you go. And then by the time you get to actually drafting, all those little layers that you've kind of written down and elaborated on in your brain will start to come together, and that's like that's the secret sauce. That's the magic. So yeah, that counts as writing. If I do that in a day, that counts. If I'm actually typing on my manuscript, that counts. You know, just don't ever let my stories, like, don't ever get out of my stories, because I know what that feels like and it's really hard to get back. So that's my main goal, is to work on my projects every single day in some capacity somehow. Okay. So yes, I guess next on the list is to nurture and grow my social media accounts. I don't really have much of anything right now. I tried to jump on like the Threads thing really early when it started, and I got some followers, but that's kind of like a garbage fire. Threads is not great. Usually when I post like progress things, I just get a bunch of grifters trying to sell me beta reading services, which I am not ever going to pay for, especially when you solicit me in the comments. Like, that's just not cool. I don't, where did that come from? I don't, that gives me a bad vibe. I don't like that. So I have like 1,300 followers there, but I don't like that platform very much. So I have some thinking to do a little bit about how I'm going to handle social media. Obviously, I'm starting YouTube. That's going to be one of the things I want to keep up. I think I'm going to promise myself 2 videos a month. That seems like bare minimum. I can handle that. We'll see. Maybe I will end up posting more than that. But I'm going to promise 2 videos per month for the whole year. Starting now, really, so plus December. And yeah, I think maybe Instagram. People are still on Instagram. I don't do TikTok. I don't want to do TikTok. So I don't know. What are you guys hearing? Like, what's the best social media right now? I know everybody just says pick one and stick with it, but I'm writing romance, so you guys tell me if there's something I need to jump into for that besides TikTok. I really like draw a hard line on TikTok. I don't like that. Anyway, probably to my detriment. That's fair. Okay, so then my other goal is kind of embarrassing. Now, I need to preface this by saying I'm in my mid-30s. I have been interested in writing for a very long time, and I have invested a lot of money into resources, specifically craft books that, you know, you hear one recommended and I just buy it. Many times I have just bought it, and over the years my collection has gotten quite large. So in general, my goal is to read some of these craft books and take smart notes, which, if you've read that book, How to Take Smart Notes, I haven't gotten all the way through it, but it's a Zettelkasten method of note-taking, which is like a second brain thing as well. There's many videos online that you can find for that, and I've kind of started one. I'm using Obsidian. I tried the analog for a while and it just is not working for me, so I switched over to Obsidian, which I'm really enjoying. And yeah, I'm gonna be building out my Zettelkasten with a lot of craft notes. And so I did have a stack here of the books I most want to read, and it's not small. I tried to narrow it down. This is part of why I don't ever get through them too, is because I don't know where to start. The one I always go back to again and again is Structuring Your Novel by K.M. Weiland. That is my favorite craft book so far, and that's like, I just go into that one every time I have any questions about structure, basically. I'm not a huge fan of the Save the Cat stuff. I feel like it can teach you about structure and like what a story needs and what kind of pushes your plot forward, but at the same time, I don't love the, okay, now write out this beat, now what's this beat, now what's this beat. I don't love that. That's another video for another day. But I did pull these out, so I am going to show you my stack of shame. This is not all of them. Okay, where's the camera? This is not all of them. This is probably less than half of them, but these are the ones I most want to read. So we've got the story grid, which they have a YouTube channel that's really, really helpful, that I would recommend checking out too if you don't have the book or don't want the book. They do have free resources on YouTube that are pretty helpful. That just anything that makes you think of your story in a different way, I feel like can unlock something, and you're just like, oh, you know, anything. Inspiration is everywhere, okay? But yeah, I've got How to Write Your Novel from the Middle by James Scott Bell. It's super tiny. I should be able to read that super quick. We've got these two that are from the same series, Elements of Fiction Writing, Scene and Structure, and Plot and Structure. Writing the Breakout novel by Donald Maass. Oh my gosh, I didn't like prepare a place to put these. The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield. I also have his like daily Pressfield book, which I have not dug into yet because I'm like, if I don't read it every single day, it's okay to do things half-assed, okay? Let me just give you permission right now. You can do things half-assed as long as you do. Like, a little bit is better than nada, okay? Story Genius by Lisa Cron. I also have her other one, Wired for Story, that I have not read either. Then we've got Seven Figure Fiction and the Universal Fantasy specifically for romance, which I bought because I'm writing romance. And yeah, I want to read those as well. I feel like those will be very helpful. Then another K.M. Weiland book. I mentioned Structuring Your Novel. This one is Next Level Plot Structure. So I have not read this one yet. Obviously, that's why it's in the pile. I'm excited for that one. I've heard great things about this, Emotional Craft of Fiction. This one I just recently heard about, Intuitive Editing. This might be like at the front of the line of what to get to because I am currently trying to teach myself how to edit my book because it's hard. Anyway, The Artist's Way, also supposedly essential reading. And then, like I said, this massive monster, The Story Grid. I think I have read, like I feel like I have absorbed many of the principles in many of these books just through watching tons of videos, listening to like tons of podcasts about industry stuff. I've been a student of this industry for a decade now. So I feel like don't feel like you have to buy these books in order to learn the craft of writing. There are tons of free resources out there for you. I just happen to choose to spend my money on these books, and they kind of make me like feel like crap to look at them because I haven't spent the time to actually go in and read them and get out all of the wisdom that they have, right? I just put them on the shelf, and then like that doesn't give me anything. I have to actually work and read them. So that's one of my goals as well. I haven't set a number like how many of them I want to read in a year. Definitely won't be all of them. Not even all of these. And like I said, I still have plenty out on my shelf where I keep them. But I don't know, maybe get through 6 of them, one every 2 months for the year. That would be nice. Some of them are very, very short, so maybe I don't know. Let's go with 6 for the year. That'll be my goal. So at the end of the year, I can say, wow, I totally didn't do that. Or, man, 6, what was I thinking? That was easy. I got through 1 million. Odds of that are basically 0. But yeah, that's another one of my goals as well. Did I miss anything? Okay, so I mentioned beta readers. I do also want to find some like actual critique partners, other writers who want to swap writing with me, who are at a similar level or similar style, where we kind of, you know, that we just get along, that we vibe with. Okay, I want to find some critique partners, maybe even just one, that I really feel like I connect with, and who can push me when I need pushed and encourage me when I need encouragement and things like that. And I can do the same for them as well, because community, this is a very isolating hobby / business or wherever stage you're at. And I want to keep doing this. I want to push forward until, another thing from Seth Ring is keep going until success becomes inevitable. If you just don't give up, if you keep pushing forward and doing your best, then eventually, like, it's gonna happen. Like, the most persistent and stubbornly persistent people are sometimes the ones who get the greatest success, because they just refuse to take no for an answer. They refuse to stop. They just keep going until something clicks, that you can learn as you go. And that's my plan. That is my plan in a nutshell. Keep going until success becomes inevitable. Yeah. So, what do you guys have in store for 2026? I would love to know. And yeah, let's do it. Like, we can do this. I feel this time of year so much, potential, right? It's nothing but potential. The year hasn't started yet. There's nothing but potential in front of us, and all we have to do is reach out and take it. Just sit down and work on it every day, like my plan is. And of course, there's going to be some where I don't. There will be some where I don't. And that's okay, as long as it's not too many, you know? So anyway, that's my next year. What about you? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. See ya.